Reading false news or a story that is biased is something that almost all of us deal with on a regular basis in today's day and age. With modern media and social media, so much false information can be spread very quickly. To combat this, we must learn to understand what we are reading. Over the course of this speech, I will discuss false information in a news setting, how journalists can skew a story and be biased, and the solutions that we as readers can take to work towards a more reliable news source as a whole. While there are many positive aspects to social media, there's also a negative side. The negative side to social media is that so much misinformation is spread so quickly and across such a huge platform. According to ACE.org, 41% of Americans use social media daily to consume news. That's close to half of our country. And if almost half of our country is getting misinformation, that is a huge problem. Social media should not be seen as a medium to receive trustworthy news. It should be used as a place we can go and connect with people, to be social, not to spread news or current events. According to CNET.com, about 60% of US adults who prefer getting news through social media said they have shared false information. That is only the 60% who are aware of the false information that they are sharing. I'm sure almost everyone has shared false information from social media at some point. The problem is it almost becomes a game of telephone, where one person reads an article, takes it as factual information, and then spreads it to their coworkers, friends, family, and over time the story becomes more and more skewed the more it is told by word of mouth. We must make a conscious effort to be aware of the articles that we are reading and to be aware if we can take them as factual information or not. While spreading misinformation is a problem, the even bigger problem is the journalists who print false or biased information. The most important part of being a good journalist is being sure that you are presenting factual and unbiased information. A journalist's job is to present a story in the most unbiased way, and any journalist who doesn't do so is giving the industry a horrible name. Journalists must be as objective as possible and put their own feelings and agenda to the side. Today, that does not happen often. We have so many biased news sources like CNN, Fox, and more. Their stories change based on what their beliefs are, and that is not the way that news is supposed to be done. The most important part of being a journalist is also, again, being objective. The biased news source takes a story and skews it in a way that most benefits them. This is what makes the media so dangerous and also makes an unbiased journalist so important. The only way for the general public to get information and stories is through journalists. So journalists have so much sway over the public opinion, and that is also what makes it so important for a journalist to be objective. The media can take advantage of people's lack of knowledge and put out the stories that are false to skew it in their favor. We as readers must fight to put an end to the printing and spreading of false information. Although people and journalists spreading false information is a huge problem, there are many ways that we can minimize this problem. The first step to minimizing this is to consider your source. We must take into account where we are getting our information for many reasons, such as if we're reading a political article, the sources will make a difference about how that story is written. If the source is more liberal, then they will skew the story to look bad against Republicans and vice versa. Also, if it is a source that you haven't heard of before, there's a fair chance that it is false information. And it would be smart to not only do some research on the subject of the article, but also the source that provided that article. Another solution to this problem is to not just accept what you hear from a friend or family member as fact. You have to research what you're going to relay before you relay the message. But most importantly, to stop this problem, we must hold journalists accountable to print stories that are objectively written. Objective journalists and the spread of false information is hardly something we think about on a regular basis. But I hope that I've informed you and persuaded you enough today to take the small steps to be aware of the information that you're spreading. News in our world is very important, but only if it's printed and spread correctly. Journalism is a positive thing. but it can become a negative thing if done so incorrectly. As I said before, the news is very important, but we are losing the importance and trust in today's world because news sources are not giving the general public reliable information, and that is a huge problem.